people are out there. Look at them. Look at them. They look like rabbits. Look at them. Yeah. Hey, everybody. It's Robert Earl out here at the Eco Ranch in Far West Texas with Cascade the Wonder Dog. Well, I've not done this before with a video, but I'm going to do it with this one. This is going to serve as both a teaser on the next project and the introduction to the next project. And the next project, well, let's see. We just finished the sitting wall. Sitting wall had to be finished because I had to incorporate it into the wall. We're bringing the walls this way. We're starting a new project. Now, before I tell you about that, let me come a little, I was going to come a little closer. I'm going to stay right here. So here's what Debbie and I were doing. We've been building this house for the last 7 years, and I catch a little flack every once in a while. Well, it's taken you forever to do it. Well, yeah, remember, as I've said in other videos, I was down for 3 years with these shoulder injuries, lung injuries, back injuries, and the damage to my nerves, which has affected my legs. So that's kind of sort of why it took so long. Catch another little bit of flack. Oh, you got abandoned projects everywhere. Yeah, I was hurt. And then some other people have commented, well, gee, at your age to do all of this, and couple of the trolls have even said something about, well, you know, if you're that old, you should already have a house. Okay. I bought my first house when I was 20 years old. It was a 1923 little working class kind of clapboard slapped together house, but when they slapped them together back then, they did some craftsmanship. It had drop cove ceilings. It had double hung windows with the weights in the windows. I went through and completely stripped down all the original 1923 wood, refinished it all, put it all back together, took the windows completely apart, replaced the ropes, redid everything, had it soaped up the tracks. That's a trick. Had the whole thing running. Now that was when I was 20 years old. So that was my first house. This is my last house. There's been stuff in between. I'm doing this because I don't play golf, guys. So Debbie and I were looking at what we were doing, and Debbie's been just, for the last 7 years, actually longer than that, she's been getting together all her furnishings for her house, and you women know exactly how you do that. And why us guys, we're worried about building it or drinking something. You guys are furnishing the house. Well, I started looking at some of the projects, the things that Debbie had put together, as well as the way that this place was progressing. And I looked at it and said, you know, that looks awful familiar. So I got on the internet and started looking at architectural styles to see, why does this whole thing and all this we're working on look so familiar? Well, we're at that point in the construction. I've got enough up where it's time to, as my old mentor and boss used to say, Bill Gray, he used to say, it's time for me to defecate or vacate the crockery. We got to finish this. I can no longer be dynamic in my plans. So I've got it. I was sitting down looking at stuff, and I found that our whole architecture out here, everything we're doing is leaning towards, remembering that, you know, we're still building with bottles and native and stone, but it's all leaning towards and looking like a Spanish colonial architecture, Spanish colonial home. So we had a problem. Debbie wanted to face the bed a certain way in the bedroom, which wasted about 20 square feet, which is done very often if you're facing a bed in a corner like she wants to. So in designing and looking, long story short, one of the design elements of Spanish colonial, of course, is the low flat roof. Now another one, of course, is terracotta tiles, which we can't do here for water collection. And another important design feature that is optional, but you see, is a turret. Now, I don't mean a castle turret with gun mounts and guards. I mean a turret that goes up with a low flat roof. So they eat a lot and they don't help. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to build a turret onto this corner of the house. Now it's going to do two purposes. We're going to run across this way so the bed can turn and still butt up against the wall. And back in here, it's going to be not that. It's going to be a walk-in closet on the first floor. I'm going to do a second floor because it is going to be 18 feet tall. Second floor, is simply going to be for storage. And another project I want to do to show you folks that are looking at getting into eco-ranching and living sustainably, how we can also use fiber optics to light the inside of our house. It's a long project. This is the very beginning of it. We're just starting it now. I've got my cable for DirecTV here. Again, everything's permanent now. So I have to encase this in the conduit you see here. This is the old DirecTV post. It's actually going to be in the middle of the wall. The wall's coming around here. It is a 14-foot diameter. Go away. It's a 14-foot diameter turret. But remember, we're cutting a little corner out of it. It's a 14-foot diameter. This will be in the wall. The wall's going to be 18 inches thick at this point. This corner, this post comes out. It'll all be supported by the turret. Turret's going to go up, and the turret will all be made out of the same stone that I used here in the sitting wall. And the first step in this whole process is to dig down to my footing. We're going to put 8 to 10 tons of stone on this. So we're doing a footing. It's going to be a 16-inch square footing along with a monolithic slab that also ties into the footing. Now, because of the weight, I don't typically use rebar in my construction. I've kind of sort of modeled my mortar mix and my concrete mixes after what the ancient Romans did with some of the additives that I've put in. But because of the weight that's going to be on the structure, we're going to do the rebar. We're going to make the bigger footing, monolithic pour with rebar in it. It's all going to tie into the stone here on the house, so it's not going anywhere. The only issue is the footing going to be strong enough? And I'm looking at footings right now. I might adjust it. But right now we're ready to start. I've been digging. We're still digging. This dirt goes over to the cement mixer. It's going to be turned into concrete. Come right back in here. And we're going to be off and running pretty quick with it. If any of you that are watching, you know, we're at the end of February now. If any of you that are watching want to come out here and visit and help, I could sure enough use some help. Not begging for money right now. We're doing pretty good. I don't know what happened. All of a sudden I've got enough money to build with all of a sudden. So we're going to get going on this. I just thought I'd do a part one. I'm going to watch the comments you folks make. Do you want me to do the turret build in 4 or 5 episodes? Or do you want me to do a whole big long 1-hour video on it? You tell me in the comments and I'll do that. But until then, this is Robert Earl at the Eco Ranch in Far West Texas, getting ready to spend a day digging. We'll see you later.